So, good afternoon, and I should apologize because I was running a conference till yesterday evening. That's the flyer of the conference. So I could not prepare such a nice and very organized talk. So I'm really happy that we have this your talk before mine, because I think I will do something a bit more chaotic, I would say, but somehow reflecting my activity as a scientist, you know. So it's very important to have women in science, but it's very important that these women are recognized and have a qualified participation in this area. So I'll just start by a transparency I got from a colleague of mine, Elisa, and that in one conference they were able to see the number of participation. There are two conferences that have about, let's say, total more than 2,000 participants, and they were looking what was the participation of the women in the presentation. And you can see here that the plenary lecture, 25%, symposium speakers, and so, and the same is valid for the other conference. So in the presentation where it was reflect of the number of women in the conference was in the poster where they were the first author. So it means that, and you know that as being a scientist, participation in international conference is essential for your work and for the contacts and so on. So that is something just to think a bit. Huh? And so the question now, how many women scientists, they are married, they have children, they have been mistaken as a secretary, make or even asked to make coffee for the group, and have been asked to take notes in meetings, cook dinner most nights, and spend more than 2 hours take care of children, parents, and others. So I think that's very common. And I was just still regarding conference, just to tell you some things I have listened in one of my ways to many conferences I have been. And the first sentence was from an American colleague that he had a different result than I had. And when he came to me and talked, I just felt in his face that was what saying. Should I believe what a woman Brazilian lady is showing that is different from mine? Or some other colleague that listened to my discussion about some different points, and he said, I will never like to get divorced from you, you know? And others would say, I would not like to be your husband, because you are traveling, you are working too much, you know? I would not like to have a woman like that, you know? So that are the things that you should. But okay, science needs more women, no? And why? They bring talent, ideas, and approach that enrich and advance science. But women are scarce, and mainly senior women in science are very scarce, you know? And we should know, we should have some women that are the first in some places, you know, and areas or departments or group committees. It seems to be a kind of classified forbidden state, because somehow it's difficult for the women to go there, you know? And often they meet a colossal resistance, but that is a term of physics of some very special material that have this colossal magnetoresistor or something like that. But so it's not easy. And how many girls and women had potential to be a great scientist and have no opportunity, no? What ideas were lost to science because these few women are participating? And how many children have poor science literacy because their mother don't understand science? So that's still another case. And now we are in Latin America, so I think you should forgive me, but that's my insight, you know. In Latin America, maybe Chamon, you met Jacques Danon, that was my advisor. And he told me once that he has been in Guatemala visiting some historical place, and he saw this guy just breaking the stones, and then he told him, but why you are doing that? That's very important. And that's what he answered. How do you want me to care for stones if I need to eat, my family has nothing to eat? How can you that we respect the stone if here they even do not respect the man? You know, so that was what he answered. So I think for us in Latin America, the education of majority is essential. Okay, we need to develop capacity to adapt and create innovation technology. Doesn't help if they just import things and if people are not able to use or to improve and so on. And of course, creativity and technological knowledge are essential. So we need the participation of all, independent of race, color, or gender. No? And we cannot leave behind 50% of women. That may be very important for this area. So now I will just give you some statistics, and most I got it from Alicia Abreu, but I will try to be, this is I got from Beverly Heatherlin from the United States, showing mainly in the area of physics, how is the participation of a woman in the United States in the area of physics. So you can read the numbers. I don't have a PowerPoint, laser point. But you can see that there is more in the beginning of the career, but as you go up, you don't have many. And they have 40% of physics department that has 0 women as a faculty member. Okay? And even if you speak a minority woman, that will be even worse. Okay, that is from the United States, and she has some graphics that give you for a region, and so these things are well known, and the situation is bad everywhere, I would say. Yeah. So, and now I'm going to speak about Brazil. I don't know, I just got yesterday from in our institute that our Minister of Science has made a kind of interview that's coming out in Nature. And I think it's very, very important to see, because I don't want to speak here and say how good science is doing in Brazil, because I'm a very good fan of the minister, and I think he does it much better. So I think it's better if you can have a look to this. And most of the information we get is mainly because we have 2 main foundations for science, that's CNPq and CAPES. And this system has been structured for years and years. And now we have some data that we can open by gender and many others, and that can give us some insight what's going on. And that's what I thank Elisa to have given me her. So, number of Brazilian students. You can know total number, and we are doing quite well. Let's say more than 50%, even 60% are women. But if you go to professor, because here we say professor in the university, but it doesn't mean really professor, you know, mainly people in the beginning of career, lecture or something like that. Huh? So if we look at that, okay, that is a public university, that's private. So there was no time to translate. But we are not so bad in this case also. And now that are the number of institutions in Brazil doing research and how they have increased along these years, you know. We start in 97 with 181, and now we are